30th of June 2026 and avoid any interest and penalties.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
NTV, turning on your world.
The judiciary has stepped up efforts to enable fast tracking of cases. We're going to bring you details on how a number of judicial officers are being engaged to improve service delivery in the judiciary. Thank you for joining us, but first let's take a look at the top stories.
NTV Tonight, brought to you by
DFCU, going further together.
File and pay now at www.ura.go.ug.
Developing Uganda together.
Tonight,
the people who should have been here are not here, and those that are here are not supposed to be here.
the much-anticipated ruling on the bail application of senior lawyer and former Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago failed to materialize today after the trial chief magistrate declined to deliver the decision in open court.
So she undertook to deliver the ruling by ICMES within 24 hours.
Kenyan lawyer Martha Karua deported. Some lawmakers moot plan to provide for the leader of opposition in parliament to be elected by the entire house rather than being appointed under the current arrangement. Also on NTV Tonight, in part 2 of our series on the construction of Mbara International Airport,
establish a mega international airport.
we'll look at whether the multi-million aviation mega project can realistically take off or whether it risks becoming another expensive dream. And
we are going to recruit village election officers.
the Electoral Commission has finally unveiled the roadmap for LC1 and LC2 elections after 6 extensions.
DFCU, going further together.
If you have an outstanding tax, pay your principal by the 30th of June 2026 and URA will give you a 100% tax waiver. No interest, no penalties, gone. File and pay now at www.ura.go.ug.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on NTV Tonight. I'm Betty Mudondo, together with Susan Mujawa and Nanda on sign language. We begin NTV Tonight with details from the much-anticipated ruling on the bail application of senior lawyer and former Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago, which failed to materialize today after the trial chief magistrate Sarah Basemera Ann declined to deliver the decision in open court. Instead, the magistrate convened a closed-door meeting involving Lukwago, his legal team, prosecutors and his sureties before announcing that the ruling would instead be delivered electronically through the electronic court case management information system within the next 24 hours. The unexpected development left supporters, court observers and members of the media without the anticipated ruling, prolonging uncertainty over one of the country's most closely watched bail applications in the recent weeks. David Ijo starts us off this evening.
Senior lawyer and former Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago was brought back before court for the anticipated ruling on his bail application. Lukwago, who has spent the last 5 days on remand at Luzira Makshon Bay Prison, had his team renew their plea for his bail release, citing deteriorating health conditions. His lead counsel, Medad Lubega Segona, told court that Lukwago's previously operated spinal condition involving a dislocated disc had worsened, significantly leaving him in excruciating pain. Segona argued that the specialized medical examinations and treatment required are not available within Luzira prison and, according to defense, cannot be adequately administered anywhere else in Uganda without urgent emergency intervention.
The health situation is not any better. It gets worse day by day. This I must mention, because I have mentioned before, there was a German national who was denied bail in Kalangala and he died. We had the Honorable Mohammed Sejirinya who kept telling courts that he was in bad health, and they refused until it was too late. So we have put all this material before court, and we want to trust that court will understand. We have said before that the people who should have been here are not here, and those that are here are not supposed to be here.
The defense also raised concerns over Lukwago's exposure to infectious diseases within the prison facility, particularly tuberculosis. Court heard that the prison's TB ward is overcrowded and that at one point, a patient suspected to be suffering from the disease was brought into the same room where Lukwago was being held, heightening fears over his health and safety. In the event that the court declines to grant him bail, the defense prayed that Lukwago be transferred to Mulago National Referral Hospital to undergo the necessary medical tests and receive specialized treatment. However, Chief Magistrate Ssaawa Basemira, instead of delivering the expected ruling scheduled for 2 p.m., convened a closed-door meeting involving Lukwago, his lawyers, the prosecution team, and his sureties. Following the meeting, the Chief Magistrate informed the parties that the ruling would instead be delivered electronically through the ECMIS system within the next 24 hours, explaining that the sensitive nature of the case required additional time to enable the court arrive at a balanced and considered decision.
Owing to the sensitivity of the case and all the environment as you see it, she was informed that it is not advisable to come back to court to convey the news that the ruling is not ready. She did not want to gather the crowds that we have, especially when the ruling is not ready. So she undertook to deliver the ruling by ECMIS within 24 hours from the time we were meeting her in chambers, both sides. She invited us to understand, one, the situation, and two, the so many words that we have used in these proceedings. So she requested us to go and glue ourselves to the computers as we wait for the ruling.
The hearing of this case has been pushed to 30th of June, the same date when Dr. Kiza Besige's case resumes. NTVGo, NTV.
Relatedly, following the decision by Ugandan authorities to deny Kenyan lawyer Martha Karua entry into Uganda at Entebbe International Airport under unclear circumstances, lawyers say they are now shifting their focus to challenging what they describe as actions that violate human rights. Karua had traveled to Uganda to attend the anticipated ruling on the bail application of senior lawyer and former Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago, who is reportedly in need of specialized medical attention. Senyonga Mulinde has the details in this report.
Early this morning, members of the Uganda Law Society gathered at Entebbe International Airport to receive lawyer and president of the People's Liberation Party, Martha Karua, together with the president of the Law Society of Kenya, Charles Kanjama. The two, along with other members, had travelled to Uganda to join lawyers led by Medad Lubega Segona in efforts to ensure that Erias Lukwago secures bail to enable him access medical treatment.
She has faced several challenges, including not being allowed into the country today. And she was coming to witness and observe the criminal process that is now being undertaken against her counterpart, lead counsel in the same case, Ras Lukwago.
However, the lawyers were surprised when only Charles Kanjama, president of the Law Society of Kenya, and lawyer Kieme Ngicheru emerged from the arrivals section. The two have explained to us what transpired at immigration.
And took her to the supervisor's office, where then again she was transferred to the superintendent's office, where she was now being told she cannot enter. She asked particularly for the reason. She was not given a reason specifically why she cannot enter the country, while her passport had been stamped already. So she was being held at the airport in Entebbe, and therefore she asked us to proceed because we are actually rushing against time.
Lawyers say Uganda's actions are contrary to the principles of the East African Community, which guarantees citizens of member states the right to move freely across borders without undue restriction.
Now, it is concerning, especially for the Ugandan Republic, where you have a constitution, the 1995 constitution, which the authorities are so wantonly disregarding. It's my prayer and my hope that when this constitution is called upon to protect them, it will be there.
Reports that Karua had been denied entry quickly spread on social media, prompting her party, the People's Liberation Party, to issue a statement expressing dissatisfaction with the manner in which its leader had been treated.
And this is a big concern to lawyers in East Africa, including in Kenya and in the other countries, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, etc. And that is why we have this observer mission to see what is happening. We insist and we reiterate that the independence of the bar is a foundational principle in any democracy.
No one was giving her any reason. They were just implementing orders, which orders we do not know where they are coming from.
Anthony Simwe says lawyers are now determined to intensify efforts to challenge actions that undermine human rights and the rule of law.
Tusaba ekikwatako bonna era tugenda kugenda mu maaso n'okuteekawo enkola n'okulwana okulabika nti ebintu bwe biti birekerawo ogenda mu maaso kuba tetuyinza kulaba ng'eddembe ly'obuntu linnyirwa bwe riti n'okusuka ewaffe wano e Uganda ogendako n'ebweru ne tusigala nga tusirise nga tutudde. N'olwekyo ffe tweyanza nnyo bannaffe ab'Ekenya aba East Africa Law Society of Kenya okuvaayo ne bajja ne bayimirira naffe okusinziira ku bye tuyitamu bino bye tulaba nga bannamateeka tebakkirizibwa kukola mirimu gyabwe nga bwe bandibadde bakola
placards and cards bearing messages condemning the manner in which she had been treated. Becca Senyoga Mulinde, NTV Tonight.
Now, news that Martha Karua had been denied entry into Uganda spread rapidly across social media, drawing widespread criticism and raising fresh questions about the country's commitment to the rule of law and regional cooperation. So tonight, we ask, what diplomatic consequences could arise from the decision to deny Martha Karua entry into Uganda? Tonight, we are asking you to tell us what diplomatic consequences could rise from the decision to deny Martha Karua entry into Uganda. Take to our different social media platforms and be part of this conversation, where I want you to share your thoughts, and later on in the bulletin, we shall return to read some of your opinions. NTV Tonight continues. Now, a group of members of parliament from the National Resistance Movement, NRM, who are also affiliated with the Patriotic League of Uganda, PLU, are planning to write to the Clerk of Parliament on Wednesday, seeking space on the order paper to request leave of Parliament to table amendments to the Administration of Parliaments Act. The proposed changes would provide for the leader of the opposition in Parliament to be elected by the entire House rather than being appointed under the current arrangement. The move follows a public clash between opposition leader Joel Senyonyi and Army Chief General Muhoozi Kainerugaba last week. During the exchange, Kainerugaba said he will do whatever it takes to remove Senyonyi from the position of leader of opposition. Juma Kiria was at Parliament and he now reports.
Good morning, honorable members.
Last week, the leader of opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi, made remarks condemning the Chief of Defence Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, over his role in the capture of Elias Lukwago and accused him of violating the rights of several Ugandans.
Human rights violations are not only affecting opposition leaders and supporters. We have seen the clergy. We saw Father Sekabida from Masaka, they was dead it, who was abducted. It had been unheard of, but it is happening. We are seeing what's been happening to journalists.
What followed was a string of exchanges between General Muhoozi and Ssenyonyi on X. The CDF subsequently suggested that Ssenyonyi should be relieved of his role as leader of the opposition and also directed his current right-hand man, David Kabanda, to find a solution to the situation. According to sources who preferred anonymity, some MPs affiliated with the PLU have drawn up a plan to amend the Administration of Parliament Act, which regulates the conduct of parliamentary business. The MPs behind the move are expected to write to the Clerk of Parliament on Wednesday this week, seeking leave of Parliament to table the amendments to the Administration of Parliament Act. There was a similar move in the 11th Parliament led by former Mityana South MP Richard Lumu, who proposed that the leader of opposition be elected by all MPs rather than being nominated by the opposition party with the majority in Parliament.
On the right.
The proposal eventually fell through after most of the consulted parties rejected it. What remains to be seen is whether this time the plan will proceed, especially given the perception that PLU now plays a significant role in determining who takes up leadership positions in the country. While the proposed amendment appeared to target Ssenyonyi, the law does not operate retrospectively. Juma Kiria, NTV.
Thanks, Juma Kiria, for that report. Now, in a major push to deliver faster and smarter justice, Uganda's judiciary is sharpening the skills of its officers on two critical fronts. While land division officers are being trained in mediation to ease the huge burden of land cases, the Judicial Training Institute has separately equipped others with cutting-edge forensic techniques, from crime scene evidence recovery and fingerprint identification to DNA and ballistic analysis. Daniel Kibet reports that this dual capacity building aims to slash case backlog and strengthen both civil and criminal justice delivery.
Land wrangles remain one of Uganda's biggest legal nightmares. According to the Hill Justice Needs and Satisfaction Report, 1 in every 4 Ugandans experiences a land-related justice problem. Boundary disputes, land grabbing, inheritance conflicts, and evictions dominate. Many of these cases drag on for years, destroying families, businesses, and communities. Statistics from the judiciary show that the land division consistently carries one of the heaviest caseloads. The High Court Land Division currently has about 8,000 pending cases. This contributes heavily to the national backlog, with Uganda's courts handling over 160,000 pending cases overall.
If a case is concluded every day, which is impossible, if you are to work by that assumption, it will take you over 8,000 days to conclude the caseload in the division. So 8,000 days is how many years? If a year has 365. And research has shown that approximately 15% is the annual filing rate. So if you have 8,600 or thereabout in the land division, 15% cases increase every year. So what that means is if the year began with 8,600, you have to add 15% to be able to get the caseload of the division in that year.
To tackle this crisis, judicial officers from the Land Division have undergone specialized training on alternative dispute resolution, that is ADR, conducted by the Judicial Training Institute with a strong focus on mediation. The judiciary's own reports show mediation works. Court-annexed mediation is faster, cheaper, less adversarial, and helps parties preserve relationships. Judicial officers, both serving and retired, believe this is the way to go.
You have so many cases in the land division. I think the exercise should involve which cases do you think you can settle using the settlement week, so that you have defined the number of cases, the types of cases that are easy to do through mediation, who will do them.
For thousands of Ugandans waiting for land justice, this training brings real hope. that their disputes can be resolved not through years of bitter court battles, but through mediated agreements that work for everyone. In a related development, the Judicial Training Institute has also conducted separate training for judicial officers on criminal trial procedures to strengthen the adjudication of criminal cases. Officers were taken through key areas including recovery of forensic evidence from crime scenes, identification of persons using fingerprints, firearms and tool marks identification, and the critical role of DNA in human identification. By building the capacity of judicial officers in both mediation for civil matters like land disputes and modern forensic techniques for criminal trials, the judiciary aims to improve the quality and speed of justice delivery while significantly reducing the massive case backlog. Daniel Kibet, NTV.
Maybe you can come and recover the shoe.
You're still watching NTV Tonight. The Electoral Commission has finally unveiled the roadmap for LC1 and LC2 elections after 6 extensions. This electoral process will officially commence early next month on July 6th with the village residents' registration, a 5-day process that shall run till July 10th, 2026. Concurrently, a separate register for the Village Women's Council elections will also be compiled. Juliet Naroga reports.
The roadmap for the long-awaited elections for Local Council 1 and Local Council 2 has finally been unveiled after the Electoral Commission secured 56 billion shillings for the exercise.
We are going to recruit village election officers. We are paying them 10,000 katwaro butwaro buli lunaku per day buli lunaku lw'omuntu omu. So times 8 and two other polling assistants. And we are paying them how much? 20,000 a polling day. So the bulk of this money, therefore, is going to pay allowances for the people who are going to work in this election.
More than 500,000 offices across 71,200 villages nationwide are expected to be filled through the open queue voting system, where voters will line up behind candidates of their choice. The exercise, which will be conducted under a multi-party dispensation, kicks off on July 6th with registration of village residents. The 5-day exercise will run until July 10th. To be registered, a person will be required to present a national ID card or a national ID application number.
Residents, not origin, not I'm born in this village, therefore I'm going to contest. No, are you a resident in the village where you are born? If you are not a resident, then you are not eligible. Because we know there are so many people who are born in certain villages, they don't reside there. So you must be a resident in that area.
The Commission has set aside Thursday, July 23rd, 2026 as polling day for the election of village women committees, each comprising 5 members. The nomination of candidates for the village LC1 chairperson, a position that requires no academic qualifications, is scheduled to take place between July 15th and 19th, 2026, with polling set for Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. LC1 chairpersons, upon being elected, will appoint their council members subject to approval by village residents. Electoral Commission Chairperson Simon Byabakama has tasked local council leaders to adhere to their mandatory roles under the Local Government Act, which include overseeing the implementation of policies and the general administration of their areas of jurisdiction, assisting in the maintenance of law and order, vetting individuals for recruitment into security forces, serving as a communication channel between government and the people at village level, monitoring government projects and other activities undertaken in their areas, performing any additional duties assigned by law or necessary for effective functioning of the village council.
They're not supposed to charge any money for these services, because any amount of money any government or elective office charges must be defined in the law. If it is not prescribed in the law, then the office holder has no right to charge that money.
The issuance of nomination forms for aspiring candidates for parish or local council 2 chairperson will take place alongside the display exercise scheduled for July 30th to 31st, 2026. Security forces have been urged not to interfere with the electoral process, but instead stick to their mandate of maintaining law and order.
Security should only be confined or restricted to what they are required to perform or to execute or to carry out under the law, not to interfere with any electoral process.
Meanwhile, the commission says all is set for the Kalangala district by-election to fill the seat left vacant following the death of former area MP Helen Nachimoli.
We did not receive any petition arising out of the nomination for this by-election in Kalangala. So as far as we are concerned, everything
fully operational international airport from scratch in less than 5 years, given several missed completion deadlines for ongoing government projects such as Kabalega International Airport. The Director General of the Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, Fred Bamwesije, says expanding at Sharara Airfield is possible, but it is still too early to discuss the extent of the expansion.
It is always possible for proposals to come talking about different things, either bigger or small things. But when they are brought to a discussion on the table, to consider all those regulatory, economic factors of sustainability, the existing ground conditions, and so on, then we come up with what realistically is possible.
Aviation analysts have raised concerns about demand and viability. Sean says that passenger traffic between China and Brazil, a core market for the project, is currently small.
The number of passengers traveling between China and Brazil is actually not that high. It's only about 250,000 passengers a year, which, to put in context, is less than the number of passengers who fly between Uganda and Dubai every year. So, you can take that, but to actually achieve the kind of numbers that they're looking at, that will need to grow by, 4,000 times in order to make the kind of numbers that they're looking at to make this scale of project somewhat viable.
At present, there are no direct flights between Brazil and China. Most passengers traveling from these regions connect to Uganda via major hubs such as Dubai and Addis Ababa, among others. Air transport remains critical to Uganda's socio-economic development. Uganda handles more than 2.5 million passengers annually, almost entirely through Entebbe International Airport. Establishing a mega international airport would require substantial growth in passenger numbers. A key justification for the project is its geography, which positions Uganda as a midpoint on long-haul routes between Asia and South America. However, that argument is also under scrutiny.
You could as well say Entebbe is also midway, because with aviation, you find those are just a few nautical miles, the difference between here and Mbarara. So how comes that Entebbe was not probably put into this concept since it's already in existence? I think, to me, that was just a selling point to the government, to the president, that it is midway, you can stop and refuel. Refueling midway is normally something that is highly unlikely in aviation, especially if you're doing airline business. That's why you see, for example, Ethiopian Airways, it has a route from here, let's say, to London, but does not go direct to London. It has to go to the hub, which is Addis Ababa, Bole International. Now, in this case, if that airport is completed, what is the strategic plan? Is it going to be a hub of some airline? That is what I would ask first. Because it's not just about putting the infrastructure there, the airport, and you say it's going to be a refueling point.
There's not a history of success of hubs that are built solely to capture third-party traffic. So when you are trying to build a hub in one country to capture traffic solely traveling between two other countries, this has not proven to be successful. There are a number of these projects that are littered all over the world where, billions of dollars have been spent on infrastructure that literally is now called ghost airports or ghost towns because, quite simply, the demand never materialized to the level that the promoters sold their funders and the governments who wound up backing that project, and subsequently regretted it.
Globally, traffic between Asia and South America is already served via established hubs in Europe and Middle East, including Madrid, Doha, among others. Regional players such as Ethiopian Airlines are already active on these routes. Now, across East Africa and the wider region, countries are expanding aviation capacity in response to real demand. Ethiopia, home to Africa's largest and most successful airline, is building a $12.5 billion international airport at Bishoftu, nearly 30 miles southeast of Addis Ababa, with a capacity of more than 100 million passengers a year. The project aims to ease pressure on Bole International Airport, already one of Africa's busiest aviation hubs, which is nearing capacity and has limited room for expansion. Bishoftu is the largest in a wave of airport investments across Africa, including Rwanda's $2 billion Bugesera International Airport. Bugesera is designed to handle 7 million passengers a year in its first phase, rising to 14 million over time. Like the proposed Mbarara Airport, some of these projects are targeting completion of their initial phases by 2030.
I think the key difference between comparing Uganda with, say, Addis Ababa or even, say, Nairobi or other places is that those places have a developed aviation infrastructure and a strong home-based carrier, which has demonstrated demand which the existing facilities cannot yet meet. Uganda effectively has a failed national carrier, I mean, for the third time now, and has demonstrated it's incapable of running a state-linked airline properly. So to assume now that all this will change and that the stars will align perfectly so that a business case based upon demand externalized to the country itself will suddenly be a magic potion to some sort of aviation success is just a pipe dream. And, you know, it is unfortunately this kind of dreams which are sold to those in power which have led to waste of billions of dollars of taxpayer money.
In Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is expanding to ease congestion and increase capacity from 7.5 million to 22 million passengers. It's an aviation showdown in the region, a race for Africa's skies and beyond. But will the proposed Mbarara International Airport be able to compete in the region? By comparison, Uganda is still expanding its aviation base, with Uganda Airlines struggling to maintain a viable network since its revival in 2019. It has had its fair share of problems. Dick Omondi, an aviation commentator in Kenya, adds that for such airports to develop, there must be a clear commercial rationale. He says hubs succeed when there is sufficient traffic to justify them. Without strong demand, connectivity and airline capacity, new airports risk becoming underused infrastructure.
The hubs have been built, one, on the strength of the carrier, which is, for example, Kenya. The hub has mainly been developed on the strength of Kenya Airways. If you look at Addis Ababa, the hub has been developed mainly on the strength of Ethiopian Airlines. So therefore, it almost seems like the airline or the strength of the hub is built on the strength of the carrier or the airline, which then facilitates the movement.
Some argue the government could have invested in existing infrastructure, especially Entebbe International Airport or Kabalega International Airport, which is reportedly nearing 97% completion to capture transit traffic between China and Brazil. They question why investors did not consider expanding these facilities into the type of mega international airport proposed in Mbarara rather than initiating new projects.
Because they can't put that here now because we are expanding on our own. So these are new people.
Beyond the runways, a major aviation hub requires extensive supporting infrastructure, including cargo handling facilities, fuel supply systems, hotels, transport networks, healthcare facilities, and reliable utilities such as water and electricity. Economist Fred Muhomza says that even under a build, operate, transfer model, the government would need to invest in utilities, security, healthcare, and connectivity.
Meaning Uganda has a contribution to do. It could be as general as we've said, can you guarantee security? That's not going to be guaranteed by the airport builder. To make sure ADF does not encroach in that area, criminals do not encroach in that area.
Muhomza says the private sector recognizes the potential this proposed airport could bring, but for this project to succeed, there must be dialogue and good relations between neighboring countries.
We may not rule out the economic benefit, much as people may not know, is it the politics, the security, the economics of the business that is leading this drive. For me, I want to keep all of them in that basket together.
David Kamanya, one of the directors of Base 7 International Aviation Academy Limited, spoke to us by phone, asked why the company came forward with a proposal before conducting a feasibility study. He said, there is a pre-feasibility study, but we will still have to undertake a comprehensive feasibility study. It is a lengthy and costly process. We are talking about roughly $15 million for the feasibility study alone. Asked about criticism from analysts who argue that the project lacks economic justification, Kamanya said the airport would deliver significant economic benefits to Uganda and the wider African region. Tomorrow, we will take a closer look at the company at the center of this proposal, Base 7. We will examine its history of working with the Ugandan government and assess whether it is suited to undertake a project of this magnitude. Nobat Atkunda, NTV News.
Stay tuned with us tomorrow. We shall bring you more on that report. Now, Uganda's retail sector is rapidly evolving as more businesses embrace digital solutions to reach customers beyond their physical locations. For many entrepreneurs, high operating costs and limited storefront space remain major barriers to growth. But one homegrown innovation is helping bridge that gap by bringing vendors and buyers together on a single digital platform. In our Innovation Nation series today, we step into Stepify Uganda to see how it is transforming e-commerce for small businesses.
Ever wanted to mall hop in Kampala without leaving your couch? Well, stop scrolling, because I might just have found an answer for you, because I do have a platform today that is going to give you a remarkable experience of online shopping within the country. Now, in our Innovation Nation series today, we step into Stepify, a unique marketplace giving you an opportunity to interact and meet up with local vendors in the comfort of your living room. Check this out.
Across Uganda, thousands of entrepreneurs are searching for new ways to grow their businesses. Yet for many, expansion comes with challenges, rising rental costs, limited shelf space, and the difficulty of reaching customers beyond their immediate location. Today, technology is providing a new path to growth.
Stepify, in simple terms, is the go-to place for e-commerce and buying and selling in Uganda. Why? We assist the buyer, we assist the seller. You don't need a storefront in a physical location. Just come to Stepify as a seller, list your products as long as you're verified. Then the buyer, you don't need to hustle going to town, look for things downtown. Come to the app, search for what you want. Of course, you'll get it. Order for it. We'll be there to ensure that it's delivered to you wherever you are, and you get exactly what you ordered for. So
this is Stepify UG, a homegrown online marketplace designed to connect local vendors with customers across the country. The platform brings together a wide range of products, from electronics and fashion to household essentials, while giving businesses an opportunity to establish an online presence without the cost of a physical expansion.
Unlike the other traditional apps that we have already running all over the place, ours is one where we ensure that we onboard vendors that we can verify to avoid scams, to make sure that payments are secure, to make sure that the deliveries are made very well. So we onboard vendors, and the vendors can get customers, which customers also just log into the platform or sign up. They get access to the vendors, then they buy products from the platform, then deliveries are done.
The platform is designed to do more than facilitate online sales. By combining digital storefronts with integrated logistics, it helps vendors manage orders and connect with customers more efficiently. For many small businesses, this means access to opportunities that were previously out of reach.
So far, we've been able to onboard around 30 vendors, and the reason why there are not yet many, of course, very many people want to join, but we have to verify. They give us their business registrations, their trading licenses. So we have a process to follow. That's why we are not just onboarding anyone.
One of the platform's key features is its integrated delivery system, allowing customers to track orders from dispatch to delivery. The transparency helps build confidence in online shopping while giving vendors greater control over customer service and fulfillment.
What sets us apart is we have tried to look for the gap in between. We already have marketplaces that onboard vendors, but the way they do it is that they do not verify the vendors. Then they leave the transaction between the vendor and the customer. They don't step in anywhere. For as long as they've got their sponsorship from the vendor, when the customer buys the product, the customer has to deal with the vendor direct, which is a problem because somebody could be scammed. Somebody could get products that are not the actual thing they ordered for. So what we've done, we've tried to remain in this transaction. We remain in this transaction in that when an order is made, our team sees the order, then we contact the vendor to see how ready the product is, work on its delivery, so we remain in between. And actually, the fees for the product are collected by our staff. Then we deal with the vendor later.
As Uganda's digital economy continues to grow, platforms like Stepify UG are demonstrating how technology can help local businesses compete in an increasingly connected marketplace. By breaking down geographical barriers and simplifying access to customers, the platform is creating new opportunities for entrepreneurs to scale their businesses and expand their reach.
From local electronics to everyday essentials, Stepify UG is proving that the future of Ugandan retail is digital, local, and incredibly fast, one delivery at a time. I'm Joram Paul Sonko at the Kampala Serena for NTV Innovation Nation.
Well, NTV Tonight takes a very short break. On in return, we bring you business news with Malcolm Musime. Stay tuned.
Plus Machuzi, you get the perfect pot of flavor and taste with the superior ingredients of the new Royco 2-in-1 mix. Enjoy the Kathufu mix.
I was with Justice. I work at Kawala Police Station. I was just seated there at the police station. I saw a drive for Predator, telling people you buy Predator, check under it. The codes you'll find there, send them to 6688. And from there, I started buying Predator. One day, I got a call from Douglas. I am one of the winners of the motorbike. I'm so happy. Thank you, Predator. Thank you so much.
MTN voice bundle. Ay. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later. Hey, Mama.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Can I have a light, please? What is this?
Castle Light, the best testing light.
Try it.
Try it.
Guys, look at this post.
Nothing hits like extra cold. Castle Light. Try it.
Well, good evening. Let's have a look at business now. My name is Malcolm Sime. The government has begun recovering loans issued under the parish development model, but repayments remain minimal despite billions of shillings already disbursed. Officials say recovery efforts are gathering pace in some districts as authorities work to dispel the misconception that the funds were grants rather than revolving capital. NTV's Rachel Navisubi reports.
The parish development model designed to channel money directly to rural communities to boost productivity has now entered its most critical stage, recovering funds from early beneficiaries. 40-year-old Nachanzi Joan of Zigoti Town Council in Mityana district received 1 million shillings. She topped it up to buy a cow. Nachanzi is among the few who have agreed to return the money targeting October this year to clear her PDM obligations.
Natandika okusasulako nakasasulako emitwalo 9 naye tezandibadde n'ezo naye lwakuba nti akasente kano kenfuna mu mata ate kannyambako nnyo mu bya school fees z'abaana era nze nsuubira ng'etteeka gunaagenda okuwera ogw'ekkumi we nafunira ssente ezo mu 2023 omwezi ogw'ekkumi kuba olwo ye feezi yasooka ntambudde omwaka ogwokusatu. In the
same town, 70-year-old Matia Kakungu has also started repayment, but he appeals for patience from authorities, noting there was no insurance against risks to their enterprises. Mityana and Mubende districts are among the top performers, with combined recoveries of more than 140 million shillings. Still, the amounts remain negligible compared to the targets.
So far, at the moment, we have about 7 million from the 214. We are trying to make a target of at least 20 million before the close of this year, the calendar year.
As I talk now, we have so far recovered 82 million shillings from the month of March up to June. And by the end of this year, we anticipate to get at least 80% of the money which is due for repayment.
The political leadership is supportive to our efforts of making sure that people recover the monies they received.
Recovery efforts have also been stifled by politics. During the recent political season, PDM funds were branded as tokens of appreciation from the president. Now, some defaulters risk facing the law.
Some, when you go there to try to talk to them, they tell you that this was a government token. They are not willing to pay. And as per the directive of the president, he says in case you fail to pay, you will go to prison, where you would work.
Over the last 5 years, government has disbursed up to 4.4 trillion shillings to more than 10,000 parishes. But with slow recoveries and political undertones, the sustainability of the program is increasingly in question. Rachel Nabisubi for NTV Business.
Thank you, Rachel. Interesting story now. Novion, the US headquartered AI-powered global banking and cross-border payments platform built on fiat, and stable coins today announced a collaboration with Visa Direct to expand real-time payout capabilities for businesses and fintechs operating across borders. The partnerships will enable companies to send funds to cards, bank accounts, and digital wallets worldwide faster and more reliably through a single unified platform. So that's news there that Navion, the US headquartered AI-powered global banking and cross-border payments platform built on fiat and stablecoins, has announced a collaboration with Visa Direct to expand real-time payment capabilities for businesses and fintechs operating across the world. Right, Uganda is stepping up its push to develop a domestic automotive industry, with policymakers urging dealers to move beyond vehicle imports and invest in local assembly. Officials argue that the expanding manufacturing capacity could create jobs, deepen industrialization, and position the country as a regional production hub.
Now that you're brought in, I think this is your first or maybe second Chinese brand. GMC is a global giant, and bring it on local markets. Big bold step. I want to challenge you, and the government would love to challenge you, that now you need to scale up and go into local assembly. Manufacturing as a whole for automotive is a process. It's not a one standoff process. You take on different products. The vehicle here has more than 10,000 parts. We don't expect you to produce all the 10,000 parts. But once you begin local assembly, you can begin with those parts with your 30 years of experience, utilize that we can do together for the customers. And therefore, we see JMC as a natural fit for Uganda.
Just like any other vehicle, the JMC is going to be acquired in three options. The first one is cash, where you walk in, you identify the car that you, the model, the brand that you need exactly. Then we shall offer you a quotation. Then you'll have to pay 25% on order, then the 75% before delivery.
The vehicle that the country has bought.
All right, that's Jiangling Motors Corporation, listed in the Shenzhen Stock Exchange in China. That's the company. So let's move on now to Uganda shilling, traded steadily against the US dollar as balanced demand and supply kept the foreign exchange market stable. Meanwhile, improving liquidity in the money market, supported by government spending, prompted the Bank of Uganda to absorb excess money in the money markets. And from the stock market, the Dow gained, with the benchmark all-share index rising 0.6% to close at 2,021 points, supported by strength in cross-listed stocks despite subdued trading activity, and turnover was concentrated in MTN, Stanbic Uganda. The local company index edged 0.05% higher, to 530 points. So oil prices in the global markets received news of shocks and were mostly flat today, Monday, while oil prices fell and optimism over progress in the US-Iran talks were offset by expectations of the high interest rates that pushed the United States Treasury yields up. Gold rose to nearly 1% on Monday, recovering from an over 1 week low hit in the previous session as progress in the US-Iran talks weighed in on oil prices and tempered some inflation concerns. That's NTV Business. You can see these stories again on our YouTube channel. For NTV, don't forget to subscribe and follow us on our social media platforms, and a lot of conversations now. Coming up is Sport Nights. The World Cup is all over the place and teams are winning. Argentina is playing right now. So Justin, Andrew, and company will be bringing us all the stories concerning the World Cup and where it is standing right now. And what are the chances for other teams, especially African teams, going forward? Next up on Sport Nights, and thank you. Stay tuned to NTV.
Everyone knows
knows me as Zari, the boss lady. Often people wonder how I take good care of my baby. There's only one answer: soft care. I trust Soft Care. It leaves her comfortable, keeps her happy and free all day. Soft Care is made from natural cotton, newly developed triple-layered absorbent system, magic tapes and elastic waist protects baby at all times.
Over 18 years, Soft Care has been sold in over 10 countries in Africa.
Join our big family of Soft Care, the best choice for your baby